Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Rachel Williams begins now.
Good evening, everyone. Remote area teams working to control a bushfire in Tasmania's southwest wilderness have faced a flare-up in fire activity this afternoon. Together with helicopter water bombers, they're working to contain the edge of the blaze before more hot conditions next weekend. And for the first time, our cameras were able to get into the fire ground to see the true extent of the incident and the massive efforts to control it.
We're deep in Tasmania's southwest wilderness, smoke rising from several spot fires across a 100-kilometre boundary. From the air you can see the difficult situation authorities are facing. It's about 2 o'clock, the expected peak of today's fire activity. The side of Mount Wright, a remote team is on the ground battling a small outbreak. These specialist crews are fighting fire with their bare hands. Today's efforts focused on the main head that extended towards Medina.
We've concentrated on that area this morning while our fire activity was quite benign, and that's allowed us to get ground crews in and working with the helicopters, and at this stage it's been quite successful.
We fly around Lake Rona, part of this pristine wilderness, blackened. But luckily, Parks and Wildlife says the fire has only affected button grass. Sensitive vegetation has been saved. The blaze stopped in its tracks, the solid line showing where a sprinkler system worked.
It was a good site because the protection works that we've done there with the sprinkler systems have been very effective at halting the fire and protecting the higher value vegetation in that particular site.
The biggest challenge in controlling the fire is the remoteness and difficult terrain. There's no quick way in by ground. The only way to access it is by air.
On this scale, it's pretty big for Tassie. We've got a lot of aircraft being used, and we're also using ground crews.
As well as water bombing, these helicopters are also being used to fill up orange bladders. They're like big pools, supplying the ground crews with a water source.
That allows the crews to work off the bladder and work the fire line by running hose out, and they can run hose out for kilometres if needed.
Strathgordon is being used as the main operational base for these firefighting efforts. Up to 12 helicopters have been flying in and out of the area for water bombing, intelligence and mapping.
We'll work our way around the fire perimeter and hopefully tie it in. So because of the relatively benign weather over the next 2 to 3 days, the work we do will be critical as we move into next weekend when the weather's expected to warm up a bit.
The fire has burned through 20,000 hectares so far and is expected to stay active for some time. But it's spectacular scenes like this giving fire crews their drive.
So does that give firefighters a bit of emotional motivation as well?
Absolutely, yeah, and a sense of achievement at the end of the day when they come out from a hard day in the bush. Yeah, they can pat themselves on the back.
At this stage, there's no threat to communities, but the smoke from these smouldering fires continues to choke the skies across the region. Michael Breen, 7 Tasmania News.
A 35-year-old woman has been arrested and charged after allegedly setting fire to a car in an alleyway off Wellington Street in Launceston on the weekend. The fire destroying a station wagon and damaging another vehicle along with the rear of an office building. The damage bill is estimated to be around $75,000. The woman will appear in an after-hours court. And a 65-year-old Carlton River man will be summoned for lighting a fire on his property without a licence during this weekend's fire permit period. Police say the man had lit shrubbery the previous evening, which had reignited and caused damage to around 1 hectare of his property. Tasmanians are reminded that lighting a fire during a permit period is an offence which can have catastrophic consequences. Hobart's rental crisis is showing no signs of easing, according to a local real estate agent. He says up to 100 people apply for each rental property, an issue needing urgent attention.
He has a home now, but for months Abdi was searching for a place big enough to call his own.
He It was very struggling and very stressful for us.
His wife, heavily pregnant, Abdi says he kept being rejected from properties and it took a huge toll.
I just applied every single place when I see the rental, but everywhere I just rejected, and I don't know why I rejected. And it took me around like 6 months to find one.
This real estate agent says his story's not unusual and the situation's still at crisis point.
We had over 100 applications on our last property, which is a bit of a concern because we feel for the tenant.
While the government says Tasmanian building approvals are leading the nation, CONOR is calling for local councils to play their part and for development applications to be fast-tracked.
There's developers out there that have got some really exciting projects and we just need to make sure we really support them and that way it'll ease the burden.
That burden felt by many, with on average 80% of properties changing hands in January and December.
We know that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of people currently looking for rental properties, and in many cases they've been rejected or turned away.
The head of the University Union is also struggling to find a place to call home for this semester. She visited an open home today, but was told families will be prioritised over students.
Yeah, I was looking for myself and there was probably about 30 people there. So there's obviously high demand on the market.
We really do need some more housing to come through, otherwise we really don't see any end to it in the near future.
The government's 10-year affordable housing strategy aims to build more houses and assist more people in finding rentals. But for now, the search continues. Louise, HEDGER, 7 Tasmania News.
The Nurses Union has backed down on a threat to ban elective surgeries at the Mersey Community Hospital. The Australian Nursing and Midwifery Federation had pledged to stop performing the surgeries from today. The increasingly hardline stoush over pay and staffing levels could see industrial action escalate again.
Would obviously consider other actions that potentially might disrupt services but certainly not disrupt patient care.
The ANMF is rejecting an offer which includes a 6% pay rise over 3 years, saying it will still leave workers worse off than those in other states. The government says the package will enable more workers to be hired. Negotiations will resume later this week. Hobart's CBD will see changes to some of its traffic lights starting tomorrow in a bid to tackle the ongoing congestion issues. New right turn signals will be installed. However, one traffic expert says it's not a suitable long-term solution.
It's an issue once again in the spotlight. Hobart's traffic congestion, but it's soon predicted to ease thanks to new right turn signals appearing from tomorrow.
So we can hold the right turn traffic and allow the through traffic to continue on while the pedestrians are moving. It just gives us a bit more efficiency through the intersection, moves a few more cars through and prevents backing up back onto the main roads.
It follows altered legislation, allowing illegally parked cars causing congestion to be towed.
And it will really allow us to take cars out of clearways where we really need to keep traffic moving in the peak hour.
However, an industry expert says the current solution won't fix the problem for long.
Well, I think it's a temporary measure. Anything to improve the traffic flow on Macquarie and Davis Street is to be welcomed, but it won't last for very long.
Instead, suggesting a large-scale alternative to fix the traffic woes.
The only solution is to create a bypass around the western side of the CBD in order to take traffic away from Macquarie and Davis Street.
Drivers can expect to see the changes starting tomorrow night. Ruby COMMANE, 7 Tasmania News.
The main draw of the Hobart International kicked off today, marked by a Swiss champion exploring the city's harbour. Various activities took place at the tennis centre, featuring an appearance by a world-famous mentor.
This Hopman Cup winner has put down her racket and taken to the sea. Swiss star Belinda Bencic enjoying the sights and tastes of Tasmania in between practice sessions.
And I thought it's just such a nice little city. So we went for a walk yesterday and it's very beautiful. So it makes you feel very welcome here. So I can't wait to see more.
The Hobart International is now in full swing, and the Domain is alive with more than just tennis.
This is our best opportunity to promote tennis every year in Tasmania. So by bringing these extra activities in, it becomes more family friendly, being able to take the kids away. So watch some tennis, parents do a bit of shift work as well.
The state's tennis competition has attracted big industry names, featuring a coaching clinic run by Rafael Nadal's former mentor.
I try to share information with coaches and speak about our experience, and they can use will be fantastic. If they think about will be fantastic. If they don't like, just don't make, we try to enjoy a little with tennis. The excuse is tennis and speak about tennis.
And this year's tournament marks a special anniversary for some devoted volunteers who have given their time for 25 years.
And it's just something that helps Hobart grow, and we've seen the changes and the development, and I think it's all of those sort of sharing, caring things that you can do for your city.
Matches continue tomorrow from 11 a.m. Ruby COMMANE, 7 Tasmania News.
Drivers in Launceston can now wave goodbye to the days of fumbling for spare coins at parking meters. The city is joining Hobart, Devonport and Burnie in launching a new mobile phone app, which allows drivers to pay electronically. But technophobes shouldn't fear, you can still be able to pay the old way.
Finding a spot in a chock-a-block car park can be stressful enough without having to worry about small change. Now, Launceston has caught up with Tasmania's other major centres with the Easy Park app launching tomorrow.
Giving people that flexibility and especially paying for only what they use as well.
At Cataract Gorge, the option of paying through a touchscreen rather than a tower is being welcomed.
Often I don't have coins, so I'd certainly find it beneficial.
Even tourists say it's overdue.
The rest of the world is using the same thing. Everybody's using apps.
It'd just be more convenient, I guess. I've always got a phone on me and I've always got, a data connection, and it'd just be easier than going and dealing with one of these things. They're slow.
What we don't know is whether inspectors can also see how long you have left on your parking bay. But tracking your time from the other side of town could help you beat the meter.
Instead of feeding it for the 2 hours, if it's a 2-hour limit, you can put an hour in and then it'll remind you if the hour's up, and you can just reload it for another hour to fill up the 2 hours. So it's really going to be convenient for many, many people.
It isn't the only option though. The traditional towers will still be available for coins and card. Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News. Aussie wildcard Ellen Perez has been knocked out in the first round of the Hobart International, leaving only 2 locals in contention. On centre court, Ukrainian Dayana Yastremska powered through her round 1 match in a dominant 6-3, 6-1 win over German Laura Siegemund. After this tournament, the 18-year-old will make her Australian Open debut.
I'm pretty nervous already, but it's okay. I will get back to the game and I think it will be fine. I hope so.
Action continues tomorrow with top seed Caroline Garcia in action against American Sophia Kenin. And finally, a Tasmanian sailor has claimed a global gong. Wynyard's JESS ANDREWARTHA claimed the World Mirror Sailing Championship on Sydney Harbour after the series wrapped up last night. She competed against sailors from 6 other countries and says it was terrific to win with her family around her.
I grew up sailing mirror dinghies when I was 9. Dad bought our first mirror down in Kingston and we started sailing that, but I've had a bit of a break over the past 5 years, so it's nice to get back into the sport again.
Her World Championship win followed success in the Australian mirror titles, which were held the week before.
Good evening. Temperatures ranged from just 1 overnight at Lyawini to our high of 28 at Launceston Airport, Hobart and Devonport 22 today, Launceston 27 and Burnie 23. Ouse reached 25, Smithton and Grove 24 and Lyawini 23 degrees. Friendly Beaches 22 today, Low Head and St Helens 21, Strawn and the Islands a little cooler. Some low-level cloud over the east and west of the state today. It slowly dissipated as a bit of smoke haze also was evident over the south. More cloud is over southern waters and South Australia. A frontal band is south of WA as well. A moist onshore flow brought cloud to the eastern mainland coast. Tomorrow a cold front approaches Tasmania, a high builds to its west. The broad trough persists over the far northwest, the Territory and the eastern states. The wind starting out northeast northwesterly tomorrow before a west to southwest change with the front during the afternoon, locally to 30 knots over the south, swells at 4 metres in the west and south, reducing. A strong wind warning for waters between Tasman Island and Low Rocky Point. Hobart tomorrow, partly cloudy, 25 before the change, 23 the top for Adventure Bay, a late shower for Tarraleah and 22 degrees. Launceston, fine, partly cloudy, 26 the maximum, 23 for Devonport, partly cloudy too for Bridport and 24. For Burnie tomorrow, partly cloudy and 21. Showers developing over the west, Strawn 20 along with Marrawar, while for the east tomorrow, St Helens, possible late shower and 26, same for Swansea, partly cloudy for White Mark on Flinders Island. The UV very high over Hobart but extreme elsewhere. On Wednesday, fine apart from showers over the west and far south. Nice day for the Cup in Devonport, just a little cloud cover and 19 degrees. Fine again on Thursday with a few more showers over the west and far south. Mostly fine and sunny and warming up again on Friday, maybe a late shower over the east. Mostly sunny in Perth tomorrow, 34 there. Fine in Adelaide, some cloud for Melbourne, Brisbane and Darwin. The showers and a possible storm for Canberra and a few showers in Sydney. A little bit of cloud over Hobart, 18 right now, 23 and sunny in Launceston, sunny in Devonport as well and 20 degrees. Bit of a mixed bag on the weather front tomorrow, Rachel, and a little bit of rain after this long dry spell, so be careful on the roads.
Yes, very good advice. Thank you for that, Murph. Well, that's all your news for now. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy your viewing of the Big Bash coming up next. Go the Hurricanes. Good night.